Okay, what's up everyone? We're back with more RE4 map making here. I guess that's what we'll call it. We've done a few tweaks since the last video. First thing I've done is I've changed the treasure icons to a little gold star rather than those blue dots. I've only done it for this section though. I need to do the rest of the map as well. I've also changed the merchant icons to these purple dollar signs rather than those weird triangles. I've also, as you might see here, added these light brown lines across places that you can jump down. So for example, we made this section last video and we sort of connected it to this starting area. So as you can see, there is a light brown line and that basically indicates that you can jump down there. Same for this spot here, and this spot here, and a couple of other ones as well. I made the village a little bit more detailed because the map that I got didn't actually have some of the buildings. Like for example, this one actually wasn't on the map when I first got it, so I added that in, and I also made it a little bit more detailed with where you can go. Like you see, you can go under here, so I made it dark brown. Added the underground little dark brown sections for this part as well, which I actually forgot to do, so I did that. First thing I want to do actually is add some titles to show what the names of the areas are called. And I've also figured out what this area is going to be called as well, what it's going to be. I decided to make it into a sawmill. I thought that'd be pretty cool, so when we title these areas, I'll call this sawmill. Alright, so we'll put the names of the areas. I'm not going to put it on the map, I'll put it outside it. I don't want to do that because it'll look messy. So we've got village there. We'll call this one sawmill. There we go. And the canyon. So I'm not going to name every single section, I'll just name the notable ones like the village, canyon, farm, you know. And I'll just do these ones for now. But for this episode, the main thing I want to work on is the canyon because I have a few ideas to expand it. So that's what I'm going to be working on today. So first thing I've done is I've added a little bridge connecting from that building to the little star area here. Usually you'd be able to camp there, but I thought I would add that bridge, which is also in the remake by the way. So then that way you wouldn't be able to just camp there. You'd actually have to move around. And I also want to take this path here and actually have it loop around and connect with the back of the building. Right, so I've extended this path and connected it behind the building, and of course we've color coded it to that darker shade of brown to indicate that we can go under there. And then in this spot here, I'm going to have a ladder that goes up to a completely new area. So you'll go up the ladder here, there'll be this entirely new area, and I'm also going to have it connect with pre-existing parts of the map like this one building here, where you have that one ladder at the top of that other ladder, and also this building here. So we're continuing that interconnectivity that I was doing last episode. So there's just a rough example of how it will connect. You got this building and then the starting building that you wake up in, chained to Luis. And before I actually go into more detail and actually construct these new areas, I think I'm just going to do what I've done here and make a rough example, so then that way I know where I want my new areas to be. I want to have one here too, a little tunnel that leads to an inside area and connects with this part here, that thing. I'm not sure what it is, but I'll have a thing on screen showing you what I'm talking about. So there we go, we have that, and I'll actually connect the roof of that building to this section as well, so lots of different areas. Really expanding it with all these different interconnecting paths. And of course we've got this section here, the underground area that I made in the first episode. I have a name for that by the way. I'm gonna call it the depths, kind of like a underground chasm thing. We may need to move it though because it might be a little bit in the way and it may make the map a little bit cluttered, so I may have to just move it to the right a little bit, but that won't be a problem. Yeah, something like that. That'll make my life a lot easier. That way I'm not having to cram it in over here. So I'll have the area here, and I'll have a little staircase that goes up and around, and then a ladder, connect into this section. We'll put that back, connect this, have it go into there. Okay, cool. So connected the roof, that path there. And then we'll work on this part. Put that there, little plank thing. So upper area here, and we'll add a few little building things as well. Okay, cool. So there we have that big upper section here. And of course, we can't forget to do this. Sweet. And also added some doorways for these buildings. And then the last thing we'll do is color code this. Okay, sweet. So I think that's everything. Yep, so that's everything. We've got this entirely new area here that connects to this building, and this building goes then connects to this path, and this new area here that also connects to this section. So I think the only thing we need to do is put a key icon for that rope that we were talking about to get down here into the depths. Oh yeah, I don't know if I mentioned it as well, but I also changed the key icons to this red circle. We'll paste one, and I think I'll put it in this building right there. That way then, if you want to run past the enemies, you're really going to have to go through a lot of them in order to get it and run down here. So I'm happy with that for now. Maybe I'll come back later and add some more areas, do a little bit of tweaking, but for now, I am happy with that. Maybe we'll add a treasure to one of these new areas, but for now, I'm just going to leave it. Oh yeah, I almost forgot, but we need to do the keys for the door here as well. Instead of having the key there, I'm going to have it be here instead to make use of this new area. And then I'll put the second one in this building here. That way then, if you want to get the keys, you really have to go out of your way to get them. So yeah, this area down here is much bigger now. We've expanded the canyon, and we've got this entirely new optional area here leading to the fish pond. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, but I also added these silver rectangles, which are basically ladders that you have to knock down. Like, say you come up to this part here through the hole, you won't be able to get up there because you need to knock down the ladder first. So when you go around, you'll be able to knock it down and then go up and down it. I forgot to add one here, so I've just done that now. But now what I want to work on is the path leading up to Mendez's house. I want to extend this because I feel like that path is just really small. I mean, you basically just go up that ladder and then you go up the hill and the house is just there. So I was thinking instead, what I'm going to have is you'll have the well and the treasure as usual, but instead of just a linear path, I'm going to add a forest. Not a huge forest, but a medium-sized forest with a little bit of exploration, some cabins, and maybe you could even have like a Dr. Salvador here that you can hear rustling in bushes and stuff, and you can hear his chainsaw. That could be kind of cool. Rather than having one in this part after exiting the house, you could instead move it to before and have a cool little stalker type section. Not a chase sequence, but some psychological horror. Have him in the background. Obviously, forest could come from any direction. Could be a cool little moment. And obviously, there's not enough room here to work with, so I'm just going to have to take this entire area and completely move it. Like I said, I don't want it to be massive, about medium-sized, maybe about as big as the village, maybe a little bit bigger. And what I want to have is a lot of different paths leading to little areas. So what I need to do is just make a rough sketch. I'll have a hill going up to Mendez's house as usual. I might have it behind a fence. So you can start off at the beginning after coming out of that previous area, and there could be like a metal fence. You open it, and then boom, a big old forest, and then another fence you open, and you have that hill that leads up to Mendez's house. I think that would be cool, I like the idea of having to go through a forest in order to reach Mendez's house. That just seems like something that could have been in the original, but didn't because of like limitations or something. So we'll make the hill about that big, and then we've got all this space to work with here. Okay, so I think about that big. Yeah, something like that. A little bit bigger than the village. So right as we go through the fence, we'll have a little circular space and have a few different branching paths. Maybe 3. Right, piecing something together here. I'm just trying to get an image in my head of what I want the layout to be. Bloody hell, that took a while, so I finally come up with something here. Here's our forest. You can see it's pretty damn big. A lot of different paths and little areas. We'll throw in a few buildings, couple of cabins. I might actually move this as well to make it an actual part of the forest. And then we'll be done with that. I need to add this fish pond as well because it's not actually here. It's just like not a part of this map for some reason. So let me add that. So I'll move that treasure here that you usually get in this spot. So then that way it's a part of the forest. And then I'll just add a couple of cabins. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. I might have to come back and add some icons or something, but for now, that's alright. We'll name it and there we go. Oh man, this map is really coming together now. This area alone, just this left side, is fucking huge compared to the original. And I've just been thinking, but this section is actually really close to this part. So I think I'm actually going to connect these. That way then, when you backtrack through this area with Ashler, you can actually go here as well. Add a door that needs to be unlocked from the other side, and then explore this section and have a Ashley boost spot as well. That'd be fucking cool, dude. Seriously, super interconnected. Adding even more reasons to come back here. So there we go. When we come back with Ashley and go through the basement up here, we'll have a door that can be unlocked from this side. Then you can boost Ashley up on these two sections here and get a couple of treasures. But I'm going to leave it there, so I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Sayonara, people. Take care.